Race fans with the driver of the number 98 Barracuda Networks Honda for Brian Herta Autosport, talking about J.R. Hildebrand. And we thought we'd go through steering wheel 101. Now, this steering wheel, sometimes see drivers toss it out. How much are we tossing out of the cockpit when we just haphazardly throw these?
You're usually tossing out about 35 grand here. So this is these are definitely finely tuned pieces of equipment. Some of the steering wheels are even more costly than that because there's more carbon fiber. They're tuned exactly to the driver's hands, things like that. So 30, 35 is really kind of the entry level for an IndyCar steering wheel.
How heavy is that steering wheel?
It's I don't want to throw it around too much, but it's not that heavy. You've got a lot of electronics here. Sometimes the different spacers on the back can make it heavy sitting here, but really, all things considered, this is a very lightweight piece of the car, and that's part of where the expense is to keep this lightweight.
Let's talk about the back of it so our fans can see this. This obviously releases the steering wheel from the actual steering mechanism. What are the paddles?
The paddles here, I guess, to the viewer. Now I'm going to have to think about this the other way around, but you've got upshift, downshift, and then these are both the clutch paddles. So you can see these from the back. That basically the reason that we've got one on each side is so that on some tracks where you're having to pull out of the pits sort of left hand over the top, you can't reach that downside or the right hand side paddle. So you need one on the left side. For the tracks that you're reaching over the other side, you need a paddle on for your right hand. So that's really the initial reason why you have one on both sides. Then for the standing starts on some of the road courses that we've had this year, you'll use both of them to some degree. You'll let one come out just to where that clutch is a little bit engaged, then you'll pull the other one all the way in, because that's whichever one you have pulled the most is doing the most work at that point. So then when the lights turn green, you can just dump one, but the other one isn't all the way let out already. So that's a procedure that a lot of the guys are working with this year to really fine-tune those standing starts as well.
Obviously, we'll have lights if we can turn that around when you guys actually shows the amount of RPMs you're pulling, when to shift, etc. But we have a lot of buttons. What do they all do?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of different buttons. Talk about sort of the dash, what we call the dash here. It's the lit up piece of it. Your RPM lights will connect to the center. Your red lights are, so it's green, yellow, and then red as they go to the center. You have your gear position here. And then through these different phases of the actual screen, you have a variety of different things depending on the driver and team of what you want to be looking at. So it's a lot of lap time, segment time, that kind of thing through practice and qualifying. Sometimes when you can get into the race, you'll still have lap time, but it's fuel numbers, your miles per gallon, things like that as you go on. If you're at a road course, the amount of overtake that you have left is on the dash. There's a lot of things to pay attention to as you go through. This button is the page switch, so you'll oftentimes have different pages that have different things that you're looking for. Sometimes if the team's lost telemetry, they might need you to be able to tell them some things that you wouldn't otherwise be looking at. You can flip through different pages for that. The brightness knob here changes the brightness of the actual screen. A lot of times once we have these nighttime races and it gets later, it gets darker, you'll turn that brightness down just so it's not glaring at you as much in your face. From there, as we go down, this is pretty straightforward. Just got your radio button. You click and hold to talk to the team. The drink button is just an electronic actuator that pumps water or whatever fluid you have in the car through a bite tube in the helmet. Your neutral button, you'll click the neutral button along with the downshift from either first or second gear, and that gets the car into neutral when you're coming into the pits. Overtake, or put the push to pass for the road courses, is pretty straightforward. Just click once and it's on. Your pit speed limiter, just click it once. You don't have to hold it. Turns the pit speed on and off. Our weight jacker is here. So is strictly for oval use. It has a weight jacker in the left rear of the car if you click on the right side, that moves it over to the right front. So that'll be if the car is oversteering. If it's loose, you want to put more weight on that right front wheel. Vice versa for the other side. If you got understeer, you need the car to turn through the corner a little bit better. That changes the cross weight over the left front. The reverse button, hopefully you never need that, but that's actually kind of an intricate procedure, getting into neutral, then getting in reverse. Reset is just if you have alarms on the dash, you can turn them off with the reset button. And then we have our fuel trim knob here. So that's everything from running full rich to running different kind of iterations of leaner maps if you're trying to save fuel. Sometimes there's more aggressive pedal maps in there for if you are trying or trying not to conserve tire wear. And then the eighth map is usually just your yellow flag map, so that's kind of maximum fuel saving, but you never really use it in a normal racing situation.
Is it true if you flip this up, the photon torpedoes come out?
Yeah, this is we have all kinds of different things here. I wasn't actually supposed to show you what's underneath that. No, there's I've actually always thought that we should have, like, you know, everybody has a button that's the ejector seat for somebody's car. Like, it might not be your car, it might not be his car, it might be your own car. You know, you're racing for the win. Maybe it's gonna be mine, maybe it's gonna be somebody else's. You know, but no, it's actually it's enough to deal with everything that's on the wheel. It does actually take quite a while to really get used to looking through everything and being able to kind of consume all the information that you have on the steering wheel. So it's a big piece of kind of our prep and our homework as we come into race weekends, particularly with a new team and that kind of thing here.
Good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
A lot to learn right there. $35,000, everything you need to know right there. Driver the number 98, Barracuda Networks Honda for Brian Herta Autosport. That's J.R. Hildebrand.